So now let's make our first topic. So I'm going to add a topic here. And remember, topics are like the questions that you're posting for students to respond to. So I might ask for them to introduce themselves. So like something I imagine that I'll be doing with my science classes one of those days in that first week is having them, pronounce their name for me, and then maybe, a couple fun facts about themselves, something like that. I should say probably not themselves. Introduce yourself. And then I can kind of add that prompt, which would be like the specific question. So, and this is also kind of where I think like the directions would go. So it'd be like, please pronounce your name. Oop, if I can spell. We'll do 3 fun facts about yourself. All right, so then down here, you can control how long you want these videos to be at a maximum. So I think the default is just a minute 30. You can extend it. So if you know they're going to be talking a lot, you can make that more or make it less if you want them to be shorter. I think the closed captioning, they're just auto-generated, but you can turn those on. So that might be something helpful with if you know certain kids are Spanish speaking or maybe for like a Spanish class or ELL class, I don't know. This setting I think is really important. That's the video moderation setting. So for those of you who might be concerned about students just posting videos willy-nilly to your topic and then being able to view them as a class, if you turn this on, nothing is necessarily posted until you have said approved it. And that goes for videos and later goes for comments and responses from students. So if you're concerned about that, I would turn on video moderation. And then along with your question, you can add other stuff to it to kind of make it more engaging. So if I wanted to record a video of me explaining the point of the question, you could do that. You can upload one. Even just adding images or a GIF is something you can do. So it kind of makes your post, your topic, look a little bit better if you add some of that media, but you don't have to. Select a way for participants to join the topic if it's different from group access control. I'll kind of explain that later once we look at the topic. So I'm going to click more options just to show you some of the other tips and tricks and tools that you have with the topic. So you can attach stuff to topics. So if I wanted to share maybe an article for them to read, I would probably put that there with a title and then make sure I would put that in my prompt. Hey, please read this article. It's linked below, and then respond with your video. Just like groups, you can make topics either hidden, active, or you can also freeze them too. So you would, if you want students to respond, you would keep it on active. If you want, basically when students log into their group, remember which is their class, and you don't want them to see that topic, you would keep it hidden. Otherwise, if you want to basically stop the responses from coming in, you would freeze it. And you can turn that on and off in terms of scheduling too. So if I only want my topic to be open for a week and then it becomes frozen after that, that's something that you can do. Think of it kind of like a turn-in date, I would think, with like Google Classroom. Topic features, you can basically have it email you every time there's a new video submitted. If you don't want that, you can turn that off, and then they have different time links here. You can have students be able to download and share their videos. So if I'm having them maybe respond with something that is more private, I wouldn't turn that on. But I know, especially as students kind of get used to Flowgrade, because I think there'll be a learning curve for them as well. They might want to share those if they put a lot of work and energy into it, for example. And you can also have topic follow. So if they want to get a new email, just like the group follow, they can get emails based on just a topic too. I don't really know if students would be using that. I think they probably get annoyed with the multiple emails, but that's really up to you. And then this part I think is really important too, under video features. So the way that this works is when students respond, and I'll show it to you too, but they'll record their video, and then as like the thumbnail of the video, they call it a selfie, a picture. And so you can turn on basically the fun stuff, the filters, the stickers, whatever, for either just the video, the selfie, or both. I would consider and recommend that you keep it on for both, because especially for kids that don't necessarily want to show their face, if let's say you turn on just for the video, then they have to take a picture of themselves for the selfie, the thumbnail. And I personally didn't prefer that, especially if I'm a kid thinking I don't want to have my video on. So I would just turn that. I keep those options open, and then they can do that. Here's where you can allow comments. So if you want to try and maybe start a discussion with students in your class, you can allow them to comment. And again, since you turned on that it's moderation. Since you turned the moderation on earlier, it is the same for comments. So you will be controlling who can comment or viewing the comments before they're seen by the whole class. You can turn on a view count for how many views their videos have gotten. You can allow them to use sticky notes within the video recording, and I'll show that to you, but I would recommend keeping that on. Same with letting them be able to edit. I know whenever I record a video, it takes at least like 3 or 4 times, so having that ability is helpful. Same with that external link. If you're including this as part of an assignment or something, they might want to include a link to that, so you can key that on or off. And then also allowing them to, like, other students to like videos or not. That's kind of up to you. I think my biggest concern with that is it becoming like a popularity contest. So I'm not necessarily sure if that's something I would like, but it's just kind of up to, I think, what you're asking students and what you're comfortable with in your classroom. And then this other fun part too is on feedback. And so this is more for the teacher. And so in a way, I would think of their feedback kind of like a rubric, where you can either give basic feedback on these 2 areas. Otherwise, you can kind of create custom feedback, which is like a new rubric. So if you're using, I think of this especially for like Spanish, but you can use it for a lot more things too, I'm sure. But if you're wanting to grade their responses in some way, you could add that feedback as a rubric, and it just kind of makes grading a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to create the topic, and then I'm going to show you what a video response would look like from the student end.